We are live. This is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Tonight is Thursday, November 10th, 2022. And Thursday night is our interview night. And so we will be interviewing tonight Jordan Buck. He goes by Jordy. And let's see, this has to do with homesteading, small scale farming, and self sustainability. That's going to be our topic for tonight. Imagine that. We talk about that same stuff all the time, but Jordy's got a little bit different take on it. He is actually farming 1 acre, a 1 acre plot, and making some serious gains on it. And he's a part timer for now. So let me read his bio. Jordy is a full time construction worker, part time farmer, husband, and father of four. Jordy manages a 1 acre homestead to grow produce for the farmer's market, raise livestock, grow livestock feed, and produce half of the food for his family. His goal is to help others on the homesteading path. So that's what this will be all about. And we're going to give out Jordy's information here a couple of times. So um, if you don't get it, we'll give it to you a couple times. But hey, I'm seeing here that you're wanting to get in on this training thing, Jordy. So tell us about your operation and you. Tell us all about everything we need to know about you.
All right. Well, I started in the homesteading area about 11 or so, shortly after I went out on my own, left my parents' home. And initially, it was more of I didn't have a whole lot of means to get by at the time. I mean, I was paying rent an hour, and decided I needed to try and do a little traditional type skills, basically food. It took me a while to figure out how to do it, probably about 4 years before I started being a little bit productive things here and there. But once I started kind of figuring that out, it really helped me out as far as just, you know, good fresh food to eat. I stay around just studying what I can, learning really how to fix up the land and the soil. That was a problem out here. The dirt was just barren of all organic matter, just kind of hard, orange, sandy clay type soil. And even the weeds didn't grow good. So just learn how to manage the water in the soil and how to manage and increase the soil organic matter, and then getting the animals involved too. A couple of years ago, must have been about 7 years ago now. Yeah, year before I got married, I started putting my chickens in a chicken tractor because I heard about this crazy idea somewhere, and I built my chicken tractor which was the same width I was doing my garden rows in 3 foot rows, and I run it up and down
Oh, yeah.
those rows after harvesting or in between crops, really improve the soil and cut down any fertilizer bills. And basically, from managing that well, I don't really buy any fertilizer whatsoever for my. I mean, I'm doing a quarter acre, very intensive garden, and not buying really a scrap of fertilizer for it. So that helped too as far as the cost and learning to grow more food. We got to the farmers market finally this past year. This was our first year running, and on the
Uh-oh. That was unfortunate. We lost him. We lost him. Oh, here he comes back. I don't know if I have to do anything. There he is. He's back. All right, you're back. What happened? Now I don't have your audio. Let's see. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Can people in the chat hear us? Can people hear Jordy? All right, I'm going to have to get Jill.
Is he talking?
I don't know. I can't hear him. He went blank there for a minute.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, stand by. Stand by. Jill's working it.
Well, it's his end. He's got connection issues at his end.
All right.
So
Can you, if you can hear me, Jill is saying that there's connection issues on your end.
oh, there he's unfroze.
I can see you, but I can't hear you.
No.
How about now? Can't hear
Can
you.
you hear him?
I can't hear him. Can you?
Maybe he needs to sign off, come back in, and if you can just talk for a minute while he
Okay.
does that.
That's what he's doing. He must have heard you. All right. Well, all right. Hey, can somebody put something in the chat? I don't see anything. Somebody just say something in the chat. I'm not sure I've got it. Let me try it again.
Oh, can you talk about?
There we go. Okay, Jill just put something in the chat. All right. Well, I might as well talk about what I am doing tomorrow. Donnie Mono. Hey, Donnie Mono, I was pretty despondent today about the. Okay, he's coming back. He's coming back. Let's see if we can get him working here. All right. How we doing now? Give me a test 1, 2, 3. Nothing. Nothing. Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear Jordy? Nah, I'm still not reading you, man. Justin, can you hear Jordy? No, we're not hearing you at all. Nothing yet. Okay. Okay, well, you know what we could do? If you're willing, we'll just reschedule for next week and we'll try it then. Because Jill's saying that you have connection issues on your end. And you got kind of a fuzzy picture too. So maybe we should do that and then I can just continue the show from here. How's that? And now you're locked up. Now you're locked up. All right, Jordy, okay, Jordy signed off. Okay. Patty O'Dell is with us. Right on. Justin, Donnie Mono. All right. Our man has signed off. And I'll tell you what we'll do, because it was, technical difficulties beyond our control. We'll just have him back next week. Why not? He sounds like got a pretty interesting story. I talked with him for a couple of minutes before the show started. And, I just want to get a. All right, he's coming back. If he can come through, we'll do it. Okay, go ahead. No, nothing. Mm-mm. Well, I can't hear him.
Yeah, no, good move.
Okay. All right. We'll call this one off, and Jill will be in contact with you, and we'll set you up for next week. We'll try that. Okay? Thank you. See ya. All right. So we get to do an impromptu show, but that's okay. That's okay. I figure there's a reason for it. Uh, I okay. So what's happening in our world? We had the midterms, right? And we're all out there farming and trying to make things work. And I think they built us up to tell us that we were going to have this huge, influx of votes, the red wave it was called, and everything like that. And I had a feeling that we were being set up for more demoralization. That's what I had a feeling of, because this whole thing seems to be like a stupid game, right? And I have to be careful what I say. I cannot say anything that I don't believe the election was, perfectly legit, because I got a strike for something that I said from the 2020 election. I can't express my beliefs over it, so I won't hear to express anything about that part of it. But you probably know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I had this feeling about it. We got up this morning. We had chicken processing. We had probably about 150 birds to do, and probably about 30 turkeys to do. So we had a good day's work. And when I got up this morning, it kind of set in what happened here in Michigan. We got our same old governor back that has just been outrageous, and we got the whole crew back, the whole coven of lovelies, and also there was some propositions that they pushed through, and the propositions were quite heinous, I thought, especially Proposition 3. It was the one for abortion, which to me, it's abhorrent, I think so. And I started thinking about that this morning, and I went out and got to work, and it was kind of building like, this is where I live. I mean, these are the people that are around me. And it from Proposition 2, they're going to make it even easier for people to cheat, you know, and so it just didn't seem good. But then I started thinking, hey, wait a minute. I don't know about this whole blue red thing, I don't know about that. And we've tried as hard as we can here to kind of stay away from that, to think that, oh, if we can just go red, then everything will be okay. Like leaving it up to the people that have no integrity anyway, the politicians. So how are they going to make our lives better? And then I just started to kind of focus on the surroundings around me, beautiful sky. Uh, the weather today was unbelievable. I was working out here in my brand new Baker's Green Acres shirt here. You see that? Nice embroidered shirt. I love these shirts. Jill got them for me. Permanent press, Dickies. Got my name right there. You see that? Look at that. Now you know who I am. And I actually had to take this shirt off. It was too warm. I had to work in just a t-shirt. And just lovely, lovely weather. And here I was doing meaningful work, providing a living for my family. And just doing something that I believe in, not just the chicken butchering, but everything else, everything else that we're doing. I believe in this. I think this is the fix for a lot of these problems that we have, because if we do things the way these people would like us to do, they're kind of treating us the same way it seems like the federal government treated the Indians. They pushed them into a place that was not too good to live, and then they just gave them a bunch of stuff, and they turned generations into, they had problems, and they still have problems because of that. And I don't think that we have to participate in that if we don't want to. No one's twisting our arms to move into these population centers. You think about a city, it's it's the craziest thing, really. When you have all those people jammed up in a city, people get disconnected from the earth and disconnected from their food, and it seems like they turn on each other. I think that's why we see these type of solutions to problems that we don't have out here in the perimeter. Okay, Jordy's saying looks like a heavy cloud cover rolled in and blocked the satellite. Yeah. No worries, brother. We'll get you back on next Thursday. I think we should be able to do that. I don't see a reason why not. So I know that amongst the politicians, we didn't get what we wanted. But even if we did, and there was a big, huge red wave, do you really think that those people would change anything? I just don't think so. I mean, we've had a very red, um, legislature here before and didn't seem to really do anything. Now it's totally blue. All right. So the she's got a carte blanche. She can do what she wants in theory, but we'll see. And I just think that I found solace in ignoring it and just focusing on what I have in front of me, the work that I have to do. So that's my 2 seconds of fame about that, because I know it's been on a lot of people's minds. Yeah, some people were really quite upset about it. I kind of started going down that direction for a minute, and then I said, wait a minute. Okay, all of the things that they just got done, I'm not going to participate in any of those things. It bothers me that they've made this Proposition 3 and this abortion thing is unbelievable. What they've done. I mean, some people are saying that Michigan is going to be one of the most radical states in the union as far as that goes, and I'm not on board with that. I don't think that's such a good idea. As a matter of fact, I think that's one of the worst things that anybody could do. I just think it's horrible, and no one's ever going to change my mind. I can't support anybody that supports that, and I don't think I ever will. I just don't see that. It's just innocent life, and if you'll do that, my question is, what is it that you won't do? I don't think there's much. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. But I was listening to a guy that I like to listen to from time to time. I've told you guys about him. He's a little tough for some people, but not for me. I did 20 years in the military. I've heard all kinds of language and attitudes and things like that. I think I can listen to just about anybody, and I'm going to pull something out of there that is beneficial to me. So I was listening to Owen Benjamin today. I highly recommend listening to today's podcast. Highly recommend. Owen Benjamin, you can find him on Rumble. That's where I find him. A lot of times I can't tune him in because too many people are listening to him. But he's got an interesting perspective. He is a comedian that got kind of thrown out of Hollywood because he just kept saying stuff that was true, but it's not on the list of approved stuff to say. So they finally got rid of him, and they threw him off every platform there is. They even threw him out of Airbnb. And so he wound up in Idaho, and he's doing what we're doing. He's homesteading, right? And plus, he's still making his living as a comedian. He does a 3-hour show every day, and he's got a huge cadre of people that listen to him. I don't listen to him every day because I don't have time, but like today when I was butchering chickens, I had time, and I listened to him, and I'm glad I did because he really puts things in perspective. He's a young guy too. I don't know where he gets his wisdom from, but he certainly has a lot of wisdom, I think, anyway. I mean, some people might listen to him because he says certain words. They just won't be able to get past that. I, you know, I grew up in a place where those words were used all the time. And so I just, whatever. Doesn't faze me at all. And that at that time, you know, it wasn't taboo to say certain words like it is now. So he will not be contained. Those words that you cannot say them on YouTube. So he's kicked off YouTube a long time ago. But from listening to him today, I picked out something that he said that I think is very true. And it was, evil is weak. Continue building. Okay, so that really spoke to me, because spending even a little bit of time fretting over what just happened in the election process, and there's all kinds of questions about the legitimacy of this process. But there's nothing I can do at this level. I can go in, I can either vote with the machines they have or not vote. That's the only option that I had. And they were the same machines that were there last time. But why didn't those machines get fixed? They proved that they could hook those machines to the internet, so they could. So why didn't get that stuff get fixed? It wasn't because the Democrats didn't fix it. It was because the Republicans didn't fix it. This is their responsibility. I mean, they proved last time that they were connected to the internet and they could manipulate the things real time. So why wasn't it fixed? It wasn't. Same machines as last time I voted. So I can really only do what I can do, and that's my work. The work before me, I have to do that. So that's what I did. I bared down on it. I started thinking about what I'm doing at the time. I started thinking about how to make that process better. And I started thinking about a project that I'm working on. And I figured out, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go and I'm going to start working on that shed that I'm building for my tractor to go in, and a few other things, chicken feed and stuff like that. Of course, that didn't happen because I got interrupted. My oldest son stopped by with his family, and so I put that project on hold until we got done with visiting, and then another friend stopped by and we had a long conversation, and that's how it goes. That's how it goes a lot of times. And that's how it went today. So I didn't get those things quite done. I did have a gal stop by, and she is interested in milk shares, right? So Jill had spoke to her and said, well, if you come by, Mark will show you the cows and show you where we milk and how we do everything that we do. And so she came by, and what better way to show somebody around than in the Jeep? So she was very interested in what we were doing. About 25 years old. And I showed her all around, and she was like, this is just what we've been looking for, to get involved with a community like this. And I said, well, you've come to the right place. And I think there's an interesting dynamic going on in that age group. And I'd say that's probably the 18 to 30-year-old age group. When I was telling her that when I first got into this, I told my father that when I got out of the service, I was gonna farm. I'm buying a farm and I want to operate it. And he was, gee, you want to be a farmer? What's the matter with you? What about all the things that you've learned to do, all the education you've had, and now you want to be a farmer? He says. And I got a similar reaction from some people that live around here as well. They weren't too impressed with that's what we wanted to do. That's what me and Jill wanted to do. And for the first few years, I'll tell you what, it didn't go too well because we didn't know what we were doing. We came with some knowledge of what farming was, but nothing that I got a dog sitting right outside that door barking. Okay, she stopped. I think they wait until I'm on, and then they say, we'll see if we can get him to get up and come and yell at us. No, they quit. So back then, and that was in 04 when I came out of the military, it wasn't real cool to be a farmer. But I didn't really get into this because it was cool. I got into it because it's what I wanted to do. Oh, awesome. Sex find XYZ. Find love on the best dating site. All right, cool. Welcome. Anyone can farm. I think we just got hacked. Good thing they can't put pictures in there. Oh, there's a little kissy face, little smoochy face, right on, and a heart. And they're probably Ukrainian girls. I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, so tomorrow I am fortunate enough to be able to go down to the DeClerc Homestead, and we're going to be doing our anyone can farm on the road Homestead Hog Harvest down there. They're in Trufant, Michigan. They have 2 seats available. Somebody couldn't come and had to cancel for some good reason, I hope. But there's 2 seats available if anybody wants to go to that. I heard something about that this morning, but you could talk to Beth DeClerc about that, or maybe even Jill, because the conversation was between Jill and Beth, and I just overheard a little bit of it, having to do with deposits and things like that. So I don't know, maybe you could pick up a smoking deal. All right. David Sonya's with us. Right on. Ukrainian girls, 2 birds. That's hilarious. You got to get a hold of Owen. You got to get a hold of him. You know what I started thinking about today? I've been wanting to get a schoolie for a while now, and I'm going to, but I've kind of been looking at them for about a year now. And I couldn't really do anything with it this summer. I met Dave and Sonia this summer, and they're boondockers. They're nomads, part-time nomads, and then the Bockers were here, and they stayed with us for 3 weeks, and they're still living in a fifth wheel. They're very intentional living, and I really want to get involved with that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Like, I would like to go down to Trufant this weekend in a school bus and be able to, when we finish up for the night, be able to go and sleep in a queen size bed in there, or a full size bed, and not be in a hotel room. We're not getting a hotel room anyway. We're getting an Airbnb, but that can be iffy too. I just think it would be way more fun to just have this bus with our logo on the side, and all of our equipment is in there, and have a little wood burning stove in there. I'm a big wood burning stove geek. I just love wood burning stoves. I've built lots of them. I'm just really into them. And but if I had that, what was I talking about? Oh boy. It wasn't about dating. Oh, I know what it was. I was talking to Donnie because Donnie said he knows Owen. Owen is putting together a place in the Ozarks, right? It's pretty far away from you guys in Idaho, but it's going to be sort of a Beartaria, like a farm grounds, like campground, farm ground. And I would like to run down there with my schoolie in, like, when it's cold here, and it will be probably pretty nice there. You probably still get bitten by snakes there in the wintertime, and help out. I think that would be really cool. I'd like to meet him. And I'd like to show him what we know how to do, or maybe help out with that community right there on site. I suppose I should get off my can and reach out to him somehow. I'm sure there's a way to do it. Yeah, I could just write him a letter. He always gives out his address, his P.O. box, right? So I don't know. I need to do that. But if you see him around, tell him, hey, I was talking about him. I was plotting to come and help with Bertaria. I'd like to do that. Anyway, we get to go to Trufant this weekend, and that's a lot of fun. Anyone can farm hog harvest on the road. Is a lot of fun. I pack up a little trailer here with all of our stuff, and we head out, and then we're doing our first kill down there at about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and it goes just like it does here. We've never done one there, but I have been to the Clerics for a workshop that they did on organic farming. So I kind of know what it looks like. I kind of know what their setup is, and so I'm going to be doing okay. I've been talking with Beth on the phone, and I think we've got it hammered out pretty well. So that's what I'm going to be doing. We won't be back until Sunday afternoon, so a couple of the kids are staying behind to hold down the fort. Big news. I can just kind of wander around tonight. This is not a normal show. I happen to be drinking a cup full of raw milk, cow milk, really good stuff. The more I drink of it, the more I want to drink of it. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like when I drink it, I say, I should really drink this more. But I do. I drink it all day long now. It's kind of a nice thing if you're a carnivore. You can do that. If you're on the carnivore diet, I can do that. And if I have a rough spot where I'm really hungry, like I had nothing to eat this morning, and then we went right to work, and we didn't actually eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon because that's how the schedule went. I was really hungry. I just came up and I slammed a glass of milk, and I was good to go. Good to go. But big news, last week, or maybe a little before last week, Wednesday, I thought, hey, it'd be a good idea if we started taking milk into Cadillac and set up herd shares there. And so I made a couple of phone calls. Hey, would you be interested? Would you be interested? And both parties said, oh, yeah. So I sent raw milk in with Jill. She was going in to do Taekwondo last week. We sent 1 gallon of milk. We had one person that responded, yeah, I'd like to try it. I'll take a gallon. So Jill brought the contract in that they have to sign and all that stuff. By this week, last night, Wednesday night, she brought 7 gallons of milk. So where do you think this is going? We'll see. We'll see. Patty's saying, raw milk is great. Didn't have any this week, and I miss it. Yeah, well, I tell you what, I miss my cow. But now she's your cow. And 603 Maple Farmer says, I am mostly carnivore. 603 Maple Farmer. It kind of rings a bell. That's not you, Kyle, is it? I don't recall that handle too well. Well, so anyway, this is kind of an impromptu night. It's 8:30. If you guys want to, Scarlett, yeah, Scarlett's doing good. If you guys want to ask any questions in here, or you want to have a conversation about something, go ahead, put it in the chat. I'm open for business here. I will go anywhere you want. Oh, I thought maybe she was already bred. I thought Endeavor got her. We think he did, but maybe you know better. He was following her around, and then he didn't care about her, and I saw him smoking a cigarette, so I think he got her. I guess you'll tell me. Did I create a PMA? A PMA. You're going to have to help me with that, man. I don't know what a PMA is. Raw milk can be sold for animal consumption with no issues. There's your angel. Well, I don't really agree with that. And, we've had disagreements about this. Um, I know we keep hearing, oh, raw milk's illegal. Raw milk's illegal. At what point does it become illegal? Is it illegal when it's still in the udder? Is it illegal right when I squirt it in the bucket? Or is it illegal when it goes into the refrigerator? Or is it illegal when I put it in this cup? If it is, how come they're not busting down the door to get me? But if I had a cup full of moonshine here that I was making, oh yeah, that's illegal because there's laws about it. But I don't think milk is illegal. I just, if you get pulled over and you have a gallon of raw milk, and a state trooper, is he going to say, "Out of the car, you milk face puss bag"? No, they're not. They're not going to. No law. It's not a controlled substance. However, if you have a pound of C4 explosive, yes, you are going to go to jail for that. That's illegal for you to have. See, there's this roster. It's all the controlled substance roster. And if something is controlled, then you can't have it. But I don't see milk on there, So what you hear regulatory exclamations from regulatory groups, but they're not lawmakers, So, like if some company has a regulation that if you do business with them, they want you to follow. Then if you choose to do business with them, you follow that. But if you don't choose to do business with them, I'm not going to play that game. Well, the Department of Ag is the same way. You don't have to choose to do business with them, right? And so they don't like raw milk. I know, because they do the bidding of who? The milk industry. And the milk industry doesn't like raw milk because of safety. No, they don't like raw milk because they want to take a bunch of stuff out and sell that, and then take what's left and sell it to you as milk. But it really isn't milk at that point. It's kind of like dishwater, right? Where this is like almost like a milkshake. It's really super rich. Raw milk is legal here too. When you say raw milk is legal in Idaho, that means maybe it's illegal someplace? Raw milk is never illegal. Yeah, I don't know if that holds up. Donnie's saying raw milk is legal in Idaho. The milk in my fridge, however, is technically illegal because there is no USDA control and we pay fiat for it. Yeah, well, Inge, if you can send me the law on that, Michigan requires it. I'm sure you mean under law, right? If you can find that and you can send that to me, I'd like to see it. Michigan requires it to be pasteurized to sell to consumers since 1940. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see it. So I haven't seen it yet. I mean, people have told me that, all kinds of things, and I've tried to find it. I can't find it. So if you can find it and you send it to me, I'll serve up a little crow on the right here. But okay, so you're saying that we can do milk shares, right? I mean, everybody agrees we can do milk shares, because I remember a few years ago, even I was doing business with Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund, and I went to a dinner, and there was a guy that was a representative for Michigan. He says, "Oh, hey, big news! Now you can do milk shares in in Michigan. Isn't that great news? And then it circulated around, and we knew a guy over in Standish, and he was in with the Michigan Department of Agriculture, and he was going to do milk shares, and he did it, and he was doing it for quite a while. I even bought milk from him for a little while, and then you know, so if I sell somebody a share in a cow, a share of a cow, then I can. Okay, wait a minute. That's why I stated that. But Michigan says it's legal to sell for animal consumption, so we are animals. There's your angle. I don't need an angle. I don't. I sell milk, and I've been doing it for a long time. If it's illegal, how come no bracelets on? How come I'm not getting thrown in the slammer? Everybody keeps saying it's illegal, but I do it, and I do it in the open. I mean, I even know lawyers that have been in my presence. I've said it. They didn't make a phone call on me. They didn't turn me in. I don't think it's illegal. I still don't think it's illegal. I mean, I just don't. I've looked around to see if I can find someplace where it's illegal. It's just something that gets said over and over and over. For fun, go on YouTube or on Facebook. Go on Michigan Homesteaders and say something about I have raw milk for sale. And you'll have a myriad of just people that are members there say, oh, raw milk's illegal in Michigan. Raw milk's illegal in Michigan. Does anybody ever know anybody that got busted for a gallon of raw milk? Yeah, man, they got me with 2 gallons. Going to the slammer for 2 gallons of milk. Yeah, it was skim too. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, if you just would use your brain, all right, I can sell you a puppy. I can sell you a bale of hay. I can sell you a chicken, right? I can. But when it comes to milk, no milk. Milk's illegal. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. That's like saying you can't. I don't know. All right. Michigan doesn't say raw milk is illegal. They say you can only sell pasteurized milk to consumers. So selling raw milk to consumers is illegal? Under penalty of what? Is there a law? I don't think there is. I'd like to see it. I would think somebody would have put it up by now. Show me the law over on that Michigan Homesteaders site. Every now and then, just to stir it up. I just like doing it. I'll take a picture of get a couple gallons of milk, and I'll put it up on there. I'll say raw milk for sale, just to stir it up. And then I'll say, can you show me the law, please? Please post it if you have it. Please post it. Somebody find it and post it, right? And no one ever posts anything. And I've kind of Googled it, and I don't find anything. But anyway, raw milk, people really like raw milk, and we're going to be taking it into Cadillac on Wednesdays. I think we're going to put it in glass jars. The gallon jugs, they're convenient, but they are $1 a piece. And then they wind up in the landfill. So I don't think I'm not too good about that. I'm not thinking that's a good idea. Okay, here's a good one. I think this is going to be rich. Rainwater is owned by the state of Washington as it falls. Collecting it is illegal. Not a lot of SWAT teams busting people for rain barrels, but look at the Amish farmer who just got nuked. It just so happens, I probably shouldn't bring it up. Raw milk is delicious. I get it from the farm every week. You get goat milk from the farm. Don't even talk about goat milk. And I have an aversion to goats. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't really. I have an aversion to goats being here on my farm. But when I go to Hidden Creek, I really like their goats. I just don't like them here. Uh, let me tell you something about the Amish farmer that just got nuked. Um, though when those stories come out, if you can read them critically, you know that they're allowing those stories to come out because that story scares everybody else into line, right? So they get the result they want, but they don't even have to do anything for it. So that guy, his name is Amos Miller. There's a lot to know on that story. But what it comes down to basically is he was doing something that he has every right to do as an American citizen. And a lot of those guys, I'm not exactly sure they are American citizens. To be honest, I really don't know. They're working a kind of a different deal. But he made agreements because he was shipping cross state lines. He was shipping cross state lines, and I know this because a friend of ours, Liz Ritzig, actually runs a food buying club, and she was buying from him. And then when these stories came out, she got involved with trying to see what was going on and see if she could help out at all. And he had made agreements with the Department of Agriculture concerning shipping across state lines. And those, it's just like if you want to run a butcher shop and you apply for a license to run it through the Department of Agriculture, hey, they'll come and give you a license, but there's a list of rules that you gotta abide by. You signed on to their game, you got to abide by their rules. And he didn't want to abide by their rules. And what he did is I think it's called the Barbara Streisand effect. He cried that they were impeding on his rights as a citizen. And they said, no, you agreed to play by these rules and you're not doing it at all. And so we don't have any other choice, but per our agreement, we're going to stop your operation. But he agreed to that first. He could have, like we have no agreements with any of them, with Department of Agriculture, U.S. Department of Agriculture. I didn't make any agreements with those guys. I mean, I did before, but I ended those agreements, and now I just operate under the Fifth Amendment. So he could have done that, but he didn't. And those stories got out, and then it's just not everything that it's racked up to be. I just put it that way. There's more to know of that situation. And that fear, though, that stops a lot of people from doing what they want to do. Now, does everybody get in a situation like that? No. I had a guy here Saturday night, and he was trying to tell me what he wants to do. And I tried to tell him he's well within his rights to do that. He's got 2 pigs. He wanted to kill them both and sell one of them to help cover the cost of the first one. I said, you're well within your rights to do that. And he says, well, I don't want to wind up in trouble like you got in. I said, my thing was completely different than that, way different than that. But he was still overcome with the fear that something might happen. And I'm not sure why people have that level of fear other than stories like this with Amos Miller. Like Amos Miller got an agreement with these. That means he initiated contact with them. Like they don't cruise around banging on doors. You got a lamb in there? Are you milking a goat in there? They don't do that. They don't have the personnel to do it. I don't think they even have the mandate to do that. It's just when you go to them and you want to get in a contract with them, that's when you're asking for trouble. Now, I have seen cases where they have gone out of their way to try and control people, And one of the cases was over raw milk, and it was one of our tribe people that posted a picture on Facebook of a gallon of milk, and she got a visit from the health department and USDA and Michigan Department of Agriculture. And they just had a bunch of questions for her. And then the tribe got involved and wanted to know what the hell was going on. And they backed right down. See, they don't really want any kind of spotlight on them as regulators. It doesn't do them any good at all. And most of the people that work for them, they just want to go to work, come home, collect their. They don't want any spotlight on them at all. They don't want any confrontation because they don't see themselves as like regulators, you know. They don't see themselves as cops. And they're not. They're not. So anyway. Yeah. Oh, my mouse gave out. Little scallywag. There we go. Yeah, okay. What else we want to talk about? Crunchy Mama's with us. Texas Tribe Weekend starts tomorrow. You get a Tribe Weekend? Wow. I hope there's pictures that get put up on someplace. Texas Tribe. Texas Tribe Weekend. I didn't know anything about that. Have you got the Bockers out there with you? I know there's someplace warm. Yeah, our cold weather starts tomorrow. Actually, winter starts here tomorrow. It's going to be down to 50, and then it's heading south. Today was up to 73. Tomorrow's 59, and then it's down in the 30s. So winter will officially be here. Tomorrow will not be Long John weather, but Saturday will, and Sunday will, and Monday will. So official Long John weather coming up. Supposed to snow on Sunday. Yep, it's about time. It's about time. Deer hunting season is on the 15th. So what else we got to talk about? Crunchy Mama, putting them to work for pulled pork. All right. What else we want to talk about? I can't think of anything else that's in the news, anything else that's going on. I'm building a shed right now with 2x6s. Actually, the 2x6s that I'm using were made by Homestead Provisions. So if you guys need any rough cut lumber, that's the guy to talk to. That's Parker Homes. He's got a good line on logs, and he does a really meticulous job of putting out some really nice lumber. The stuff that I was using today, he brought over like 3 months ago, and it's kind of been sitting. It was stickered, you know, and had a lot of weight on it. And I finally started using it yesterday. I built the sidewalls of this shed that I'm building. It's 15 by 18, and it's on the north side of the chicken house. And I just need it wide enough to get the 2 tractors in there, just to keep them under roof in the wintertime, just to keep them from getting snowy. And yeah, I started that yesterday. I got the walls up. I got the trusses laid out today, but I didn't get any further than just getting them laid out. So it doesn't look like I'll be getting back on that until they come back on Monday. All right. What else is going on? Beef harvest is coming up. All right. That's going to be December 3rd and 4th. We got a lot of work to get ready for that. I still got to build a high rail. The inner shop there, Sean, you'd be of interest to this. I think there was pictures posted of the Homestead Hog Harvest Tribe Weekend, and that shop's looking good. We've got windows up in there, and it's insulated, and it's pretty nice, pretty livable right now. Now the outer part of it is where that high rail is going to be, and that is going to be one of the first jobs that we need to get complete before, you know, the December class. So that's that. Let's see. The red wave, we assume it was R, but I see it as China. Oh, taking over. They silently invaded us years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I think you should listen to Benjamin's podcast from today. I really do. It was very helpful to me. I listened to it, it really boosted me up. He told a story about 5 guys that get shipwrecked on an island. One's a farmer, you know, one's a farmer, the guy's a miner, another guy is a metallurgist. Anyway, but they're all 5 guys and they're all have an expertise and they get shipwrecked on this island and things are going well for a few years. And then a guy shows up who is a banker and he says, "Oh, you need to get a money system going here." Very interesting story. And you can see how that's what the political system that we have actually fosters, right? So you got red and you got blue. Sometimes the blue guys are winning, sometimes the red guys are winning. Does anything change? Not much. Not much. They gotta change some things, or else we would totally not pay attention to it. So okay, so the only thing that I've seen, and maybe this is just my local area, but I see a lot more immigrants here, you know, and they're not timid like they used to be. And the price of gasoline is up. That's what I see. Okay, so now the Republicans have taken over, not in this state, but in a lot of states. But what isn't changing is the whole banking system. That's not changing. And the compounded debt and all that stuff. That's not changing. And really, on my farm, nothing changed. If we had all Republicans in charge, that would be the good guys, right? Nothing would change. And what do I need them to change anyway? So just all I need to do is take care of my stuff, right? And ignore what they're doing and not give them any credibility, right? I don't know if when the thing went down here, the pig thing, we had a Republican governor. You think that little jerk would even take my phone call? No, wouldn't even take my phone call. So the whole blue red paradigm is very useful, but not for us. But if we participate in it, we're giving it credibility. So I know I heard Owen say today, you guys don't think that the election was legit, but you voted anyway. You thought it was going to be rigged even before it was rigged, but you voted anyway, right? Yeah, I kind of feel that way. Will I vote next time? For the first time in my life, I'm thinking, I don't know if I will. I mean, it took me an hour. I could have been building something. I'm not really sure if I will because I don't see the validity of the blue red scenario. Okay, so the first thing I saw this morning was somebody who said, if your state's been taken over and you just need to find a state that would take you in, like a red state, like Florida. My oldest sister lives in Florida. She's a big time lib. She hates DeSantis. So it's not like the whole state is, NASCAR people, or I don't know. How would you, conservative Republican Christians? It's not. It's no way, is it? And DeSantis has got to put on a real good show. But is it that different when you go there from, say, Ohio? The climate's different, but it's kind of the same. It's like they're playing this political theater, and we keep bouncing from, their guy and our guy, and you voted for this one, you voted for that. When in the meantime, what's really happening to us is the bankers are raping us. And not saying that we have to be involved with the banking system. We really kind of don't. And I think that homesteading is kind of a nice hedge around it, right? But I would go and listen to Owen. I think he's got it going on in a lot of ways. Okay, I'm missing some things here. Drama clean. All right. Hey, Nancy's with us. All right. Donnie says, I'd love to hear about your hog scalding setup. I'm a few minutes behind. I have 2 small kids, so I pause a lot. I know how it is. Yeah, I can tell you about that. We kind of talked about hog processing the other night, and I don't think I touched on that, but after we've got the pig shot and bled, most pigs have some hair on them. The type of pigs that we raise, the Mangalitsa and the Mangalitsa cross, they have a lot of hair on them. They look like a sheep. They're so woolly. And so you have a couple options, probably 3 that I can think of. You can skin the pig. So you got to get a knife in there, and you're in between the hide and the first layer of fat. And you're trying to keep as much fat on the animal as you can, and you're skinning away. And when you finally drop the skin on the ground, you've got this rug with a bunch of fat on the back. And I don't know what to do with that. I suppose you could get creative with it. You could make some Halloween costumes or something. I don't know. Or maybe put it over something and it would kind of harden up. I don't know. But usually, if we skin something, and we do occasionally, it just goes into the compost pile. Your next option would be to singe the pig, and that's where you take a weed burner. It's about a 3-foot long tube with a little nozzle on the end of it, a pretty good sized nozzle on the end of it, and you hook it up to a propane tank, light it off, and you're just burning the hair. And it's a little stinky at first, but you kind of get used to it, and it's actually kind of a nice smell, actually, after a little while. So you burn it, and then you scrape the ash off. You burn it, scrape the ash off. And you got to do it several times, and you'll get down right to the skin, and then you're just cleaning it off. And it's pretty nice. It's pretty slick. It works well. I guess the only hang-up would be it's a little messy at first and a little stinky. That's the only problem. It takes you about the same amount of time as it would take you to scald the pig. And in that scenario, what you do is you have to have a tank that's big enough to accept the pig. So like a bathtub, like a clawfoot bathtub is perfect. And if you can get a fire going under it, or a propane torch under it, or propane manifold going under there that you can get it going, you get that water up to about 145 degrees. 145 is a good thing to aim for. Figuring your measuring equipment is going to be plus or minus 5. So if you're 150, you're still okay. 140, you're still okay. I think if you're at 140 and you put the pig in there, you're moving them around, sloshing the water all around them and everything. And after about 2 minutes, you pull on it, and it's not quite, you pull on the hair and it's not quite sliding right off. Then leave them in there for another couple minutes. You're a little on the cool side. If you put them in there and at 2 minutes, just it slides right off, then maybe you're a little on the hot side. Pull them out right then and start getting the hair off. And you can just take handfuls of it and pull it, and it'll just slide right off, and it'll be just as clean as can be underneath. And then you can take a bell scraper or a kind of a dull knife or maybe like a paint scraper and have at them with that. There's all kinds of ways that people have figured out to do that. Devin, a buddy of mine, he does it with a power washer and hot water. So he scalds them, pulls them out, and then hits them with a power washer. And I've seen some extremely clean pigs that he's done that way. I tried it one time, did not work out so good, right? But I'm going to experiment with it some more this fall. My personal choice is the scald and scrape method. The downside for me doing the singeing method is by the time you're done, you've applied a lot of heat to that skin. And most of the time when we process a pig, some of it is going to go into charcuterie. Charcuterie is the preservation method that we use to preserve hams, which are called prosciuttos, guanciales, which is the jowls, right? We preserve those sort of like a bacon. Let's see what else. Bacons, of course. We put those on a brine for a couple of days and then take them out and hang them, maybe smoke them. Just depends what we feel like doing with them. And it's nice to have the hide on there. And if you've singed it and you get that hide to the point where it's actually kind of crinkly, then it doesn't really work very good for charcuterie. So that's why it's not our preferred method to go to. We sell a lot of pigs to Romanians, and that's the only way they do it. But to them, it's a whole ritual. They make pretty much a day out of it. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I know about that. Love to hear about your hog scalding. Now, my hog scalding setup is a hog scalding tank. It was made for that. And I can't get the entire hog in, but I can get the front half in. And then we pull it out. We lay it down on a specially made table that I fabricated. It's all made out of pipe, and it's real heavy. You can lay a pig on it, and you can roll it from side to side. It's made so one guy can scald and scrape a pig, and that guy is usually me. So I didn't want it so if I rolled it too far this side that the table would fall over. That would be a bad thing. So I had to make it a certain way. And let's see. I usually do one half. I usually do the front half, take it out, scrape it off, and then turn the pig around and put it in the other way. So along the way, you might be asking, well, how do you hold the pig? I have an overhead. I have a rail that's up over the tank, and then there's a winch on there, right, like a chain fall. So once I run him up out of the water, then I can push it down to where the table is and lay it right over on the table. And one guy can do it, even a big pig. And that big for me is like a 500-pounder. And so that was custom built so that one person could do it. I could have gone a little bit more high tech. I could have an electric winch, but the hand winch seems to work good, and I've had it for like 30 years and it's still working. So, okay. Oh, repeat the name of that podcast, please. Okay, that is the Owen Benjamin podcast on, let's see, Rumble. Yes, Rumble. I got turned on to Owen Benjamin by Jack Russell. I don't know if Jack comes here anymore. Okay, Inga says we have elections, not selections. It's all an illusion to make us believe we have a choice. I'm starting to believe you're right, but I'm actually losing a lot of interest in it because even if we get the right people in, what we think is the right people, I mean, they speak to us. They don't do anything. And my experience with them, at least the experience that I've had with a few of them here locally, our state rep, our state senator, they were very low integrity people. I got to say. Okay. Sean's saying, Mark, I'll give you a call this week to discuss beef class flow menu this week. Got some ideas to run by. Excellent. I will look forward to that. Hopefully, it could be, next week. Tonight's Friday night? No, Thursday night. I'm going on the road tomorrow, and I won't be back until Sunday evening. Drama says it's pretty free in Florida. Well, it is here too. Like, I don't know. There's not, in the course of my day, I don't ask permission for anything that I do. And I don't know of anybody else that does. It's kind of a perception that they put out, But we'll see, because now our governor has pretty much a clear. But see, something's going on because she was big buddies with the clown in the White House. He was even thinking she was going to be the VP, but then it didn't happen. These people are all connected in weird ways, right? So I think it's mostly drama. Honestly, I really do. I cannot believe what's going on in Washington is real. And I certainly didn't think that what happened in this election was real. I just didn't. It was set up. The mainstream media was saying, "Oh, the red wave," and even the Dems were freaking out. It looks like it's going to be a red wave, but then it was nothing. And so the Dems, yeah, and the Republicans, they got long faces on. It's just a way to manipulate people, right? Because it doesn't matter really who wins. They still do the same stupid stuff. They still have no integrity. I mean, I'm not saying it has to always be that way, but that's kind of how it is now. Okay, Owen's podcast is banned almost everywhere. I listened on Telegram. Address posted above. Oh, cool. Above or below? He's in Sandpoint, Idaho. I know that from listening to him. Address posted above? You posted it above, did you? I didn't see it. You mean below? Okay, we skinned a pig last weekend. It was a nightmare. No skin to help preserve the meat. Yeah, another thing else about that? You've got a heavy animal, and then it is totally covered in fat, this white fat. And it's warm white fat. It's not, having hung for a couple of days where it's cold. This is warm. It's like blubber. It's like trying to pick up a skinned seal off the beach, a heavy skinned seal. That's another reason. You just can't handle them. So after we scald and scrape them, we'll eviscerate them, and then we take them right down the middle. And then I lay it back on that table, the skinning table, or the cradle table, and they're laying hide side down, and nothing really sticks to the hide side. Whereas if I was laying it on that table, every speck, every hair, everything would stick to that fat. Then what do? Are you in there with pliers picking stuff off? No, it just makes a mess. Inga says, politics drains your energy. Yeah, it does. And what good does it do? I mean, if you vote for the Boston Red Sox and I vote for the New York Yankees, and I call you this and you call me that, and we wear our little shirts and everything, Red Sox, Yankees, and then the Yankees win. You still got to, if you're a Red Sox guy, you still got to go to work on Monday morning. If you're a Yankees guy, you're still going to work too. Nothing changes. It's just a game, right? And this political thing, tell me it's different. Tell me it's different. Yeah. The Repubs have the House and should have control of the Senate. Narrow but majority. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see what they do. Let's see what they'll do. Are they? What are they going to do? Are they going to? Oh, we'll talk about Hunter's laptop. Okay. So it's more of the same. Nothing's going to change. The only change is us. And like I heard Owen say, if you're on my Facebook, you may have seen I posted this. So people think, wow, that's really profound that you said that. But Owen said, really profound that I can't remember it. I'm having a moment. Let's see. He said, well, let me see. I posted it, so I want to make sure I get it right. Having memory issues today. Whatever. Okay. Evil is weak. Period. Continue to build. And like the way I see it, you have our governor who's accused of a lot of very heinous things, and she seems to like the major thing that she wants to do is just kill babies. She just lives to do that, which I don't understand. And we're put together differently, and I want to preserve human life, and she wants to take human life. Whatever. I don't get that. But I've seen scenarios like that before. And I don't think you can put that in any other category except evil, right? She's just evil. And whenever you see evil, it never comes from a position of strength. A truly strong person is compassionate, and they are not evil, right? So what happens to weak people? Eventually, they succumb to hubris. And we may see that. You never know what that is that they will succumb to. But it's usually does. And she's like that. She's pretty flashy, likes to get out there and talk, and I think she's going to mess up because now she's doesn't need to run for re-election again, and her entourage is the same as her. They're not really good people. Yeah, a couple of people agreed with me. 45, evil is weak. Continue to build. Right. So instead of fretting about all this that's going on, just keep building. Keep building your farm. Keep building your communities. Building your friends base. Keep making money. Storing things away. Increasing your base of tools. Your scope of influence. Keep building. Don't go throwing your hands up and say, "Oh, gee, I just wish Donald Trump was the president again." No. Okay. Politicians have ruined politics. Yeah, you got that. On another note, what are some good goat breeds? You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. And how many bucks to does for a herd of about 15? I don't know that one either. Inga would know. Yeah. Donnie says, I don't vote. I don't care. I follow God's laws. So far, so good. Yeah. I bet you're one of them weird homeschoolers too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of go that way. I mean, if the system was working, but it doesn't even seem like it's designed to work. I mean, how could it be that we're just so evenly split down the middle that these races are so close? I just don't think that that's it. I think it's, I don't know. I don't want to get thrown off of here for saying that I don't think it's, well, I probably already did say it. So anyway. Did you know that there's a 1940 comic that describes turning twin towers to dust? There are many movies with predictive programming of what's to come. I don't think the twin towers was even built in 1940. As a matter of fact, I know they weren't. But I agree with you. There's a lot of those things, especially The Simpsons. Simpsons was good for that. I mean, they even had Trump as president in The Simpsons. I remember that very well. I didn't know who he was back then, but I remember that very well. Okay, the system is designed to bring us where we are, communism. Yeah. I don't know. I I don't think that my optimism. Okay, I'm optimist. I am optimistic about the future. Now, it's a feeling that comes from inside me, right? I don't think I can necessarily put my finger on it. I'm optimistic, but then you have somebody come along and say, "This is what's coming," and then I'll match that feeling of optimism up with that. Oh, the elections, it's going to be good. It's going to be a red wave. About the only thing that would happen is the liberals would pull their hair out. That's it. That's all we get out of it. It's kind of fun, but it doesn't change anything. And then it doesn't happen, and you say, well, yeah, but I'm still optimistic that a better life is ahead, a better world is ahead. Does that come from, well, as soon as Donald Trump's president, then I'm going to enjoy my life? That's kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb. I think it's better to figure out how you can enjoy your life and achieve the goals you want to achieve in spite of who is, you know, elected in your county. Now, I think local politics matter, and I think those can be affected. I don't really see where they're. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because I I was made aware of some election things that happen on a local scale. I ran for sheriff in this county, and some of the townships where my son lives, I got no votes in those townships. So I don't know. I don't know. I should have been more skeptical when I ran. Um, our friend Lorna, she's a real person. She said, you need to have people at all of those polling stations. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get off on a bad foot with these people because it seems like the church ladies that run all the polling places, they would be offended by that. So we didn't do it. Turns out we probably should have if we were serious about running for sheriff, which I was to a point at the time. I'm glad it didn't work out because I didn't know enough then to really do it effectively. Could probably handle it now, but back then it was sort of I could see just a little bit further than my flashlight, and that's not far enough. And then Inga says, yes, Mark, just live your life and build your empire. I like that. I like that. I think I will. I think I will. Okay, Donnie's saying, I'm an unschooler. My 4-year-old girl helps butcher rabbits. She loves it. Whatever they like, we focus on. Soon I'll have to pay mentors, but I won't be sending my daughters to the government schools. Good for you. Yeah, come out of her. There's no reason to go to school. One of the things that we've found homeschooling, when Jill came home, she used to work, and we had 2 kids. We had 3 kids. And when she came home, it brought a lot of additional information into the house, a lot of learning into the house. And so it was good for all of us, right? And then a lot of the things that go with school faded. They faded, and it was good to get them out of here. And people say a lot of times, well, what about your children's social interactions? Well, they socially interact with my wife and me, and then other adults that we deal with, and then sometimes when their friends and cousins come over. But to send them into school just so they can socially interact with the idiots at school, I don't think that's a very good idea. Because I remember when I was in school and I graduated in 78, there was idiots in school. That's where I got most of my bad influence, was in school, from the other idiots in school. Okay. Drama says it's the political grift that will do anything to keep the normal citizens out of political office, to the point of locking us in our homes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying the system couldn't work. And, we've had good people try to get in and make a difference. That's why I did it. I mean, I wasn't trying to get that big fat paycheck from being this county sheriff. A lot of that I didn't like the idea of having to deal with the people at the courthouse. I didn't want to have to do that. It seemed like I was stepping back into the military. There was that daily, head to head. No, you're doing it this way, and I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't like the idea of. I have nothing against. Honestly, I have nothing against weapons. I have nothing against weapons. I have nothing against the weapons that I have here, as far as, they're tools that I occasionally have to use to do something, whether it's to shoot a deer or shoot a coyote or a skunk or something like that. I have nothing wrong with that, but I don't like the idea of carrying weapons to defend myself against other human beings on a daily basis. Especially here in my own country. I don't like that. I just don't like that feeling of, putting on a weapon every day. I don't like that. And yeah, as the county sheriff, you don't have to carry a gun. You don't, but you have a responsibility to protect yourself for the sake of your family. And I always kind of thought that I would probably do about half and half, you know. A lot of times there's a lot of freedom in not carrying a weapon because you don't have to protect it. And then you can kind of say, well, I didn't have a weapon on me. I couldn't, there's that kind of freedom. But then sometimes you feel like, nah, I better do this. I got to do my duty here. There's innocent people around, and I'm the guy that's trained, so I probably need to do this. But see, I don't have to do that here in this job. I don't have to do that. And so I like the fact that I'm not required to do that. I don't know, it might seem like a small thing, but to me it was kind of a big deal. I did not want to have to go back to doing that. I don't think I'd want to be a policeman. I don't. All right. Michigan will be California the second when Whitmer shows her wrath. I think we're in for quite a ride, but focus on your homesteads. Probably sound words. Probably sound words. We'll see. Hands-on training better than any school training. Schools keep your brain bombarded with mostly useless info. Okay. Drama Clean. I'll try to tune in tomorrow. I'm a member of the tribe now, so I'll be back wanting to know more about farming. Hey, we're not going to be on tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Friday night. We don't go on Friday night. I just gave my friend a cast iron bathtub to scald his hogs. Thank you for the insight. Hey, right on. Right on. Let's see. Oh, we're an hour and a half. So I think I'll sign off. I got to go get some stuff done. It's 9:30. I'm at the end of a day. Okay, this is my life. I did 150 chickens or so. We had to pick 50 up off of our field. 50 came last night. Yesterday, I really worked hard. I worked until it was way after dark putting up those walls. Today, all those turkeys and all those chickens, I have to handle every single one of them and get them. I'm the killer. And then they go through the window, and then my son Jim, he's a scalder scraper. When that was done, we had to do cleanup, and then it just kind of rolled from there. I was pretty much taking care of people after that. And here I am. It's 9:30, just finishing up. I'm going to get something to eat, and then I will hit the sack as a tired pilgrim tonight. But I got my work done today, and it's very important for us to embrace our work. That's my words of wisdom for tonight. So I'm proud to have done it. I made it through. I can embrace the fact that I had a good day, good work day, and I've got some very important work ahead of me the next 3 days. So appreciate everybody coming by tonight. I think we're on to something big here. Let's stay tuned and see what comes of it. And get out there and remember anyone can farm. Get on out there and get it.